Welcome back, folks. It's episode number 4 of the Get a Grip on Life podcast. What's Get a Grip on Life? You know, man, I've always wanted to just interview people in an environment where they know they're accepted and comfortable, where I can ask them questions that, what are you asking that for? This is a party. I don't want to talk about that. No, they come in here, they know I want to talk about them, and I'm open to who they are. I'm not judgmental. I just want to hear their message and what their life's about, what they know about, whether they're a social media influencer, whether they're something in politics, whether they're social issues, whether they're all sorts of different kinds of controversial topics where they're welcome to tell me why they think the way they think. And I'm open to it. I want to listen to them and find out what it is that drives them, what makes them successful, what they're struggling with, and where life has taken them. It's called the Get a Grip on Life podcast. Go to getagriponlife.com. On today's show, we have a special guest. It's a YouTuber. She taught me so much about YouTube, so much stuff I don't know. There's a whole world out there this 41-year-old guy from Uxbridge doesn't even know about. Come on, man. The world's really big. So she's really understands a lot about YouTube. She's got a lot of followers and on that channel. And she told me all about YouTube, how it works, how people make money on it, what they do with it, why it's an important media, why it's growing so quickly in importance, and how it works. So thank you to Serena G for coming on the show. Personal YouTube is /SerenaGX, @99girlgaddy for Twitter, /SerenaX99 for Instagram, and check her out on Facebook and all that sort of stuff. This episode of the show is brought to you by Get a Grip Studios. That's right. Took me a year and a half, almost 2 years to figure out how podcasting and content distribution worked. I built myself a studio. I bought a whole software media set that Matt's using right now in there to record this. And now I'm offering it to you. That's right. You want to start a podcast? You want to be serious about it? You want to go hard and fast at it with a strategy, put it together? A lot of people think you can just download an app on your phone. Now I got the Joe Rogan experience. Dan Carlin the next day. It doesn't work like that. It's actually difficult to do. So, I mean, you can handle it, I'm sure, on your own, but most of you got full-time jobs, which is why you know so much about what you know about. So go to getagripstudios.com. Give us a call. We have price points from $200 to $30,000, depending on what it is that you want to accomplish with your podcast. How big your potential audience is. How big of an expert you are. Go to getagripstudios.com. But for right now, we got Serena G, episode number 4 of the Get a Grip on Life show. Welcome, Serena G.
Hi. It's just call me Serena. The G's just there because you have to have a last name now. It's just, you can just call me Serena.
Just go Serena. Okay, cool. So, how did you, I read your bio, you went to school at Concordia?
Yeah.
For film studies?
Film studies, yeah.
And did you graduate?
Yeah.
You have a degree in film studies. And I read that you're writing a thesis now on the history of YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's a project that I'm kind of undertaking myself. It's like obviously not for school or anything, but it's just something that kind of came to me, I guess. It's just kind of, I was first thinking like, oh my God, you could do like a whole course on like history of YouTube as an art form, the way they do it with like video art or whatever, these different types of things. And I was just like, well, who's going to write like the outline for that? Well, it should be me. Like, I'm the one who knows about it.
Sure. So what is YouTube?
I mean, in the broad sense, is a website where you can upload videos. It's probably the best website that exists currently, despite its flaws for video producers. YouTube is an online community of content creators and consumers. That's what it is.
And so what is it to you, though? Like, why is it worthy of this thesis project?
Because, YouTube is sort of... Okay, so you had all these movements in the past that were sort of like, okay, so when film cameras first became where you could buy them on the market, they were handheld. You didn't have to have a ton of skills to use them around like the 50s, 60s. You started seeing this big surge of independent film because now it was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Anyone can make a film. You don't need like a big studio. You don't need all this stuff. You have the camera and you can have a mic and it's just you go. And so then there was other revolutions, obviously, when things like cassette tapes came along. People were like, oh my God, you can edit without, cutting things with scissors. You can like use 2 VCRs to like edit things, or like you can just, a lot of these video artists would just like let the tape run out, record whatever. And so YouTube's kind of the next thing in that. It's the next innovation where it's bringing the chance to create things to ordinary people who don't have access to things. You can get on your iPhone, you can get on your webcam, you can get on your camcorder, you can upload it to YouTube. So it is the current wave of independent art. You know, you still have independent cinema, but it's actually, indie cinema is actually quite commercialized now. So it really is YouTube. And YouTube is becoming commercialized. There's commercialized pockets of it, but it's still very much regular people. So it's sort of that current wave of independent art. And I think that it is art, and it is definitely comparable to these things of the past, like French New Wave cinema or video art or what have you.
Or the Gutenberg press.
Anything like that.
So you're saying this is a new medium that isn't it an old medium now? It's kind of old in a way for the internet world.
I mean, not really. I mean, YouTube is still so relevant. Like, you have other things like Instagram. Okay, Instagram stars are big. You had like Vicky, Lil Tay, all these people to rise on Instagram. But they don't have the same mass appeal as YouTube. Like, Instagram is so limiting. And a lot of these people who got popular on Instagram or Vine, you know, like Lele Pons, this kind of crowd, they've migrated to YouTube because YouTube is that is still where people go for online content. You have Twitch, which is big right now, but guess what? Every Twitch streamer is uploading their highlight reels to YouTube.
Okay, so how can people have you monetized? I saw that you have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 5,000, and one of your videos has almost 200,000 views. How can you monetize that? How do people monetize that?
Oh, it's simple. It's ad share. So you apply to be monetized. It used to be you had to be a partner. Then they changed it where anyone could do it, but then, you know, like the PewDiePie thing. So this controversy with PewDiePie happened. I don't know if you heard
I don't really know
this.
who PewDiePie is, but...
okay, PewDiePie's the #1 most subscribed YouTuber in the world.
Okay, and his name is PewDiePie?
Well, that's his username. His name is Felix Schellberg, I think.
Okay.
He's a gamer. He has so many. How many? I think he has like 16 million subscribers at the moment, or it might be more than that.
And what does he do?
He used to do Let's Plays. Now he sort of just kind of does whatever. He's a personality. Like many of these YouTubers are like personality based. He had this controversy with the Wall Street Journal, who took some jokes he made out of context and kind of used it to smear YouTube as a whole. And YouTube, unfortunately, like I said at the beginning, like there's some flaws with YouTube. And one of the flaws is that the people who run it, they're very reactionary to these type of things. Like Wall Street Journal runs a bad story. They're like, oh, we got to do something. So
I think YouTube's more powerful than the Wall Street Journal, actually.
I think they are too, but I think that they don't realize it, at least the people on the top. I think the creators realize it because, you know, PewDiePie didn't lose any subscribers over that. He didn't lose anything. Like, his fans obviously...
What does he care about a bunch of
him.
50-year-old writers at the Wall Street Journal care about him?
Well,
I don't even know who he is. I'm 40 years old, and he's the #1 YouTuber.
Well,
he doesn't care about me.
This is it. But YouTube, they freaked out. They're like, okay, what we got to do is we got to make it so that not just anyone can have ads on their thing. So
they defunded PewDiePie.
He's got a lot of demonetized videos, but he's technically still monetized. But he's so big, he can now make money other ways. He can sell merch and apps and stuff because he's so recognizable. But how
old is this PewDiePie character?
Oh, he's got to be 30-something now, maybe.
Oh, he's an old YouTuber then.
Oh, he started, pretty... I mean, not super early, not like a Shane Dawson who was there like right at the beginning. But he sort of started, I want to say, like 2010.
Okay.
So, or no, he must be like 28 or 29. Anyways, so what you do is you apply. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of watch hours. You apply to YouTube, and they basically, from what I've seen, they've basically been approving everyone, but it's sort of like this smoke screen to be like, no, we don't approve everyone. Or I guess if it's like really objectionable.
Have you ever got a paycheck from YouTube?
Not yet. You have to get a certain amount. I just got approved because it's a really long process. It takes a few months because there's so many applicants. So I haven't gotten my check yet, but it'll be coming like probably in a few months.
Is there like an amount per view that you get?
It doesn't really work that way. It's kind of complicated. I mean, if you go to Social Blade or something, they can give you a good estimate. That's in the ballpark.
Sure.
There's no way to like predict it down to the gnat's ass but basically what it is you're sharing the ad revenue. So obviously companies are paying YouTube to put their ads on videos, and YouTube is sharing a percentage of that money with the
content creator,
the person whose video it is. So you're getting a percentage of that. So that's how the monetization works.
I found your video a little bit confusing on this nostalgia guy. Did you have to know who Nostalgia Guy is first before you watch the video?
Probably, honestly, I probably tried to explain it a little, but if you didn't get it, it might not be that great to people who don't know. But it was kind of made amidst of a controversy, so it was relevant at the moment. So most people who watched that video did know who he was, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't really do a great job of explaining to people.
Or maybe I'm out to lunch.
No clue
I
who
could
he
be
was.
I could be out to lunch. Yeah.
But basically, who he is he is like kind of an OG guy. He's definitely one
What's
of the
OG?
Original.
Okay.
Well, OG actually means original gangster, but people just use it now to mean original.
Okay.
So he is old. He's way older than he's like 35. So he started on YouTube like way, way, way back in the day. I want to say like 2007 or 8, like really early. He was doing sort of just whatever, and then he kind of fell into this nostalgia critic thing where he reviews movies sort of kind of similar to like Mystery Science Theater, but not really. It's hard to explain, but it sort of blew up. It's definitely a thing now. Like YouTube movie reviews are like a whole genre of their own, and he sort of started that. A lot of people will say, oh, well, Red Letter Media was around the same time. Angry Video Game Nerd was sort of doing the same thing. But it was sort of like a bunch of people had the same idea at the same time. And he couldn't do his stuff on YouTube anymore at that time because YouTube was really cracking down with their content ID, even though his stuff is fair use, and I'll give him that. It definitely is fair use. So fair use is basically like an exemption.
I'm listening. Okay, it's an exemption on what?
Copyright infringement. So there are certain instances where you can use portions of copyrighted material if it's for satirical purposes, criticism, parody, things like this.
Okay.
Education. So if you, for example, if you made a documentary about salmon and you wanted to use a clip from CNN talking about salmon, and they were like, oh, you can't use that clip. Well, they would be wrong because it's an educational documentary, so you're allowed to use a clip of their salmon news report in your documentary.
Okay. Even if you're getting paid for it?
Oh, definitely. What's the word? Like, making money is not a determinal factor when they consider fair use cases. So anyways, but because YouTube's basically, they were really bad for this at the time. They're pretty bad for it now. They say they're working on it, but they have a content ID system, which basically is a robot that detects other people's work. And it's not always even accurate. Sometimes they detect things that aren't even the right thing. So they'll just, at the time, they were pretty much just blocking your video or taking it down outright or giving you a strike. Like, now it's a little bit different. These companies have kind of figured out that it's smarter. For example, if you're Universal Music and some kid wants to make a video of their hamster like dancing to a Black Eyed Peas song, it's smarter to just monetize their video and get money from it rather than take it down. So that's what they're doing now. But at the time, it was like really draconian. So he was like, okay, I need to like get an alternative to YouTube. And it was very ambitious. He basically, him and some other people got together. They started this website called That Guy with the Glasses, which was going to be this alternative to YouTube, which was focused on his type of thing, reviewing movies, video games, what have you. And they had a number of content creators they had brought over from other platforms, blogging sites and YouTube, to be on their site. And so that's kind of, but the website eventually kind of fell apart, and he ended up being back on YouTube. He's quite popular. I believe he has 1 million subscribers or 2 million. So that's basically who he is. He's sort of the pioneer of the YouTube movie review, if you will. Although he's
and so why were you after him?
Well, first of all, His videos just flat out aren't very good. He's not a good reviewer. He gets things wrong about movies a lot. His stuff isn't very funny, but the main thing that was going on at the time was that him and his brother and this other guy, Mike Michaud. So Doug Walker.
You speak like you know these people. You've never met them.
I mean, that's kind of how the internet is. You watch these people and you kind of get to know them. Like,
Do you feel like you know them?
I mean, I feel like I know them to a certain extent that if I met them, I could carry on
Like
a
the way you talk about
conversation.
PewDiePie is like the way I talk about somebody I met in the lighting business, a couple years ago. I know that guy. Yeah, he works there, and it's you kind of like colleagues that have never met but know each other somehow.
Well, it's sort of like if you watched Seinfeld back in the day, I'm sure you could talk about George Costanza like he was a real person, like you knew him, like you knew.
But PewDiePie is a real person.
Right, but it's the same thing.
George Costanza is a character.
You're seeing George Costanza every week. You're seeing his antics. It's the same thing with PewDiePie. You're seeing him every week in videos. He's talking to you. He's giving his opinion.
If you met him, would you feel like you knew him?
Maybe a little. I feel like I could carry on a conversation with him.
Would he want to carry on a conversation with you? That's the question of all this sort of thing, right? It's like, it's kind of freaky. You think like, so I listen to the Joe Rogan Experience sometimes, and I feel like I know Joe Rogan in some ways, but then I know that I don't know him.
Right.
It would be weird if I walked up to him and said, "Hey, Joe, how's it going?" You know what I mean? It'd be a little bit weird, but it's like with this younger YouTube crowd, you guys are kind of not afraid to do that at all. It's like you do know each other.
I mean, kind of, yeah, because it's just more personal, but I think it's always kind of been like that. Like, celebrities have always kind of tried to have that, a lot of them anyways, have tried to have like that personable kind of appearance. That's why people get so upset, like, when celebrities die. It's like, well, you didn't know, whoever, Greg Lake, but it's like, oh, his music meant so much to you. You felt like you knew him through his music, whatever. Sure.
So this thesis, what's your hypothesis and what are you planning to lay out for us? That YouTube is a Gutenberg revolution?
I basically would kind of first go over the history of YouTube, like, obviously, that's kind of where you need to start as like an outline. And then I would basically just kind of analyze YouTube as an art form, different types of videos, different communities.
Is
on
YouTube an art form or is it a medium?
Well, YouTube is a medium, but
or is it a forum?
Videos on it are art, at least.
So the medium is personal videos, and the forum is YouTube, or the gallery is YouTube. I'm trying to put it into an art form space.
Yeah, it's like, it's like...
There's a lot of things that aren't art on YouTube, though.
I mean, it depends how you look at it. A lot of people would say that anything that someone creates can be art. Like, that's kind of the point of film studies, is that you can pretty much analyze anything through these different lenses. But, I mean, I agree. There's certainly things that are created without much thought, but I think that there's also a lot that is.
What kind of thought do you put into your videos? Like, how do you come about it? Some of them were different. You did this live stream where you just live streamed for no reason. It was like live streaming for no reason.
Well, I mean, live streaming is kind of a whole thing in itself. Live streaming is sort of an opportunity to just kind of hang out with your audience in a way, because they're in the chat and you can kind of talk to them. It's sort of a genre. It's called IRL live streaming. It's sort of a genre in itself.
Were you talking to your audience on that?
Yeah, and the other thing that...
Could they speak to you, or were they typing things into your screen?
Well, they are typing in the chat.
Okay.
So, different people have different things they do on live stream. A lot of people obviously play games. Like,
sure.
I'm sure you've seen that on Twitch and stuff. So people are playing games, but they're also, like, interacting with their audience.
I don't know what Twitch is either, but so I get that
okay.
live streaming is a thing for gaming. I get that. I understand why people would stream a game. So you're interacting with your audience. Like, what are they saying to you?
Mostly they're just like,
yo, Serena, what's up?
I mean, not even. Mostly they're just like spamming memes, or they're like making stupid comments, or like...
Give me an example of a spammed meme.
I don't know. Like, everyone would be like, sing Despacito, or like, do a dab.
What's a dab?
Dab
it's
is
like this? Yeah, okay. What's Despacito?
It's a song right now. It's kind of a meme because it's so bad, but it's like a really popular song. It's sort of like a few years ago.
Did you sing it for your audience?
I don't know any of it except for the part that goes Despacito, because it's in Spanish.
Oh, okay. I know that one. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. And so they wanted you to sing it, and just stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's like funny, because it's a meme. It's sort of like... It's so hard to explain. I don't want to become like behind the meme or something, but
What's becoming behind the meme? What does that mean?
Behind the Meme is a YouTube channel. He's a dude who basically, he does exactly what I'm doing. He just says, okay, here's a meme, and I'm going to explain where it came from and why people think it's funny.
Okay, do that for me. Give me a meme, explain it to me, and tell me why people think it's funny.
Okay, first of all, have you seen any memes online?
I know what a meme is. Apparently, Matt tells me that I don't know what a meme is. I don't know what an online meme is. I know what a meme is. So it was invented by Richard Dawkins in 1975 in his book The Selfish Gene, and it's like a cultural gene, so that it's passed on from one person to another or in a cultural context.
But that's exactly where it comes from, because it's mimetic, so it's duplicating and changing a little every time. That's what online memes are. So you're taking sort of a template and using it differently. So Okay, I'll just give you one that I kind of know. So I don't know if you've ever seen this meme. It's maybe a little old by now, but it's still kind of out there. You might not have seen it. Tell me if you've ever seen a meme. It's a dude in like a green spandex, like alien outfit. He's on a counter. He jumps down.
I saw that on your
like
YouTube channel.
And he's like, I'm gay.
Yes,
okay?
I saw that on your YouTube channel, yes.
Okay, that was a big meme. It was like everywhere.
Like the green fog gay guy?
Yeah. So it was huge.
What was the name of the meme?
The meme was just called I'm gay.
Okay.
People were using it to like come out to their parents, just posting clips of it. People were using it in all kinds.
So they're jumping up in green uniforms and saying
no,
they're
just
gay?
using the clip.
Okay.
So they're doing remixes like that song like I'm blue, da-da-dee, but they replace it with I'm gay, obviously. So what that came from is there was a video. Like, see, you have to explain these things. Like, they're hard to explain. So there was a video by a dude called Max Mofo. He was
Max Mofo.
Max Mofo.
That's his handle or whatever.
Yes, he's an Australian YouTuber. He does a lot of collabs with Filthy Frank, iDubbbz, and so they were doing a video together called Edward Watermelon Hands.
Okay.
So, Filthy Frank was.
These people are getting paid to do this?
Yeah.
By YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Filthy Frank was playing in the scene, I think, John Cena hands. So he had just a bunch of John Cena dolls on his... Anyways, that's irrelevant. So iDubbbz is up in the corner in this alien suit. He's like up on the microwave, whatever. And so Max is directing them, trying to get different...
iDubbbz is green suit gay guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Max is directing them, saying like, oh, say something like this, say this, to try and get clips. So he says like, okay, just say one more thing, like jump down and say something. And so iDubbbz, obviously, he jumped down and said that, and it was included in their behind the scenes video of that video, and it just became like a huge thing. Like people just loved that one
How many
clip.
people saw that?
Okay, the original video has like, I believe at least like around 15 million views.
Okay.
And the other remixes and just the clip itself re-uploaded probably has a lot more, because that was the one people were passing around. The one
with green suit, I'm gay. Is he actually gay? Is the guy actually gay?
iDubbbz, I mean, that's kind of the thing.
He just said that. It's not maybe necessary. It might not necessarily. It might have been true for the moment or something. I don't know.
Okay, the thing about iDubbbz is, look,
you talk like you know these people. I love it.
Well, the thing about iDubbbz is persona is, look, he doesn't talk about his personal life. That's kind of the thing. And Keemstar's always up on him like, you got to talk about
Keemstar?
Oh my God. I feel like it's so hard to, I'm sorry, it's so hard to talk
Keemstar is
to
always
people
up on him.
who don't know these people, because I'm usually talking to people who know who they are.
Yeah, sure. That's what this is all about. Let me into your world, Serena.
Keemstar is the host of Drama Alert.
Okay.
Drama Alert is a YouTube show that basically reports on YouTube drama. So, Leafy's nudes leak. He's like, oh, you guys, Leafy's nudes leaked. Or,
Nudes? Like nude pictures?
Yeah. Or like, whoever Jenna Marbles and her boyfriend broke up. Oh, hey guys, welcome to Drama Alert. Jenna Marbles and her boyfriend. It's kind of like TMZ for YouTube, basically.
Wow. But there's something more personal about all this. It's not the same as me knowing who George Costanza is.
I mean, yeah, because he's fictional, but like...
No, but it's not even the same as that. It's not the same as, like, me being upset that Kurt Cobain died. There's a good one, right? So when Kurt Cobain died, I was 16. Okay, I remember the day I was riding the bus when I heard it, and somebody came and said, "Hey, yo, Kurt Cobain died." And I was like, "Whoa, Kurt Cobain's dead. What are you talking about? Holy macaroni!" But I never felt like I knew Kurt Cobain.
Not even like through his music.
I was into his music. I thought it was all right. Looking back, it's a little weird now, but like you could see the depression in the music for sure. I don't know if I like it anymore, but when I was 16, I thought 15, I was into kind of grunge. I wore the weird Converse shoes and had the funky shirts and what are those farmer shirts or whatever, and you whirled around, cut the arms off them and stuff like that. But you know, I mean, I never felt like I knew Kurt Cobain. I never felt like I liked his music, but I never felt like I knew him. You talk like you know these people, but you don't know them, and they probably talk like they know you if they didn't see you.
I mean, definitely people who watch me kind of feel like they know me, but I don't know, maybe that's just YouTube.
They do know you in a certain sense.
But it might also be because, like, back then, you know, it was like, okay, where are you going to see Kurt Cobain? In his records, in interviews, that type of thing. Now it's like, okay, even other celebrities, I feel like people know them a little more. Like, Ariana Grande is putting out music, but her fans can go to her Twitter and see her thoughts. They can go to her Instagram and see her everyday pictures and her different videos, and her Snapchat, see little pictures like, hey guys, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. So I think social media in general is kind of making it feel like we know people more. Like how even people have online friends, they feel like they're closer to their online friends than people they know in real life.
Like, do the people they know in real life, is there a difference between the people they know in real life? Is there a difference in who they are and their persona and what they're trying to be for the people they are in real life and their online personas?
Oh, like YouTubers, definitely for...
Like, do people have, like, bipolar online disorder?
I mean, there's definitely... I mean, first of all, you're kind of always a little bit more, like, animated on camera, typically. So, like, I mean, I'm thinking of an example here, like, someone like Phaelus is this guy. He was from That Guy with the Glasses originally. He does reviews, and he's, you know, got this... In his videos, he's always like, hey guys, like, I'm Phaelus. But then, like, hear him in commentary tracks or whatever, and it's always like, oh yeah, like this part, it was kind of like he's very mellow. But that's also, like, kind of because you're performing.
So, like, you know, he's in mellow mode right now, and he's not another, like, yeah, it's like there's an intimacy to this YouTube thing that I don't think old people are aware of.
I mean, maybe not, because, like, you talk about Kurt Cobain, like, I know... It was a year ago or 2 years ago when Christina Grimmie died. I don't know if you heard about that. Christina Grimmie was a YouTuber. She was a singer. She did like piano covers of different songs on YouTube. She did a bunch of stuff, and she was killed. Like kind of similar to like John Lennon or something. Like
someone shot her?
Yeah, fan came up and shot her, and it was like this crazy thing for me because, you know, celebrities had died before that in my lifetime that I cared about, and I didn't even really care about Christina Grimmie. I didn't watch her, I didn't listen to her music, but like when that happened, it hit me like so much harder than like any other celebrity I've ever heard about dying. It was like...
Is that because she's kind of like a colleague of yours?
I mean, I wasn't even doing YouTube at the time, so I don't know if that's it. I don't know if it's because... You know, I had heard, the only thing I really knew about her is I heard her in this one podcast. She was being interviewed. This podcast I watched. So it's like, maybe it's because of that I felt like I really knew her, or maybe it's because she was my age, or because she was, you know, because it's YouTube, they feel like more like a normal person, less like a big celebrity. It's so hard to explain, but I know that was like the only time
There's something significantly more intimate about this than there is with traditional media. That's for sure. I can tell just in talking to you right now that there's something more going on here that I was not aware of until we had this conversation. I mean, so, wow. Like what? So it's almost like there's this giant portal into everybody else's world, and you can choose to participate in it and join it, or you can choose just to be a viewer and a commentator, or you can choose just to be a viewer, and there's those three levels, and you're choosing to create content.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate.
So what kind of content are you creating?
Right now I'm mostly doing sort of video essays based on YouTube channels, or getting into doing ones on film too. I think I did one on a TV show, and then I also do just sort of regular like I guess they call it commentary videos. It's sort of the commentary community where you basically kind of, it's hard to explain, but the commentary community is someone who like comments on other people's videos. So I did a video
So there's YouTube videos on YouTube videos.
Yeah, so like I did a video critiquing Lele Pons. It's not unlike
Yo, Lele Pons, props or whatever.
Yeah, it's not unlike Roger Ebert would critique a film.
Sure.
It's very similar to that, actually. It's just kind of YouTubers talking about other YouTubers.
Do you want to be a full-time YouTuber, Serena?
I mean, definitely. I think most people probably do want that in the end because...
Most people in the world or most people? Well,
most people on YouTube who create videos because you do... it is so time-consuming. It is so... like, I don't know how to put, like, brain consuming. Like,
yes, your brain is filled with this for sure. I can see that.
Like, you're kind of, I mean, I think I Hate Everything, who's a YouTuber, once said, like...
I Hate Everything? That's a YouTuber? Okay.
Yeah. He once said, like, it's something, like, once you do it, you can't turn it off. You're thinking about this stuff all the time. And it's kind of true.
How old is I Hate Everything?
I don't know. He doesn't reveal his face. He sounds like a younger guy.
He doesn't reveal his face. I love it.
I mean, his videos are just like a little cartoon guy and lots of visuals.
Wow. Okay, so where do you see yourself? Well, how old are you, if you don't mind? Do you mind me asking how old you are? Say it for the internet. No, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I mean, I'm old, okay?
You're old. Come on. I don't have any hair. Okay, so where do you see yourself in 2 to 5 years?
I don't know. Is this a job interview?
No, it's not a job interview. I'm just curious about this.
No,
I got more questions about YouTube.
2 to 5 years. Sorry, did you say 2 to 5?
Yeah, 2 to 5.
Well, I mean, I know my Social Blade projections say.
Your Social
Blade. It's a website that tracks.
Your projections on Social Blade. You told me about Social Blade. Yeah.
Yeah, they track YouTube numbers basically.
Okay.
They say in 5 years I'll have like 100,000 subscribers. That's based on like my current growth, so that could change it for faster or slower.
Sure.
But in 5 years, I would say I would hope to still be making YouTube. I would hope to have a larger audience, and I would hope to be having either through YouTube or through some other means be having income that could sustain that path.
So you want your lifestyle to be paid for by the creation of content on YouTube?
Not necessarily paid for by it, but I would like, if it's YouTube or if it's some other job, I just want there to be money enough so I can keep doing it.
I get it. So you may work 2 jobs, one being the YouTube and one being...
Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Whew. Do you ever see yourself working for a content creation company and helping other people do this?
I mean, yeah, like that's kind of what I was originally trying to do, was work in like traditional media, but it's very, very hard to get into that. Most of these places, they want to hire people they know. So they're very tight-knit communities. People are very friendly. Like I saw that in Winnipeg. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I forgot to turn that off. I saw that.
Was that your phone?
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I thought
it's okay.
I saw that in Winnipeg. I saw that in Toronto. They're very, like, traditional media is very, very
insular,
tight-knit. Yeah.
So, but have you tried applying?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I worked as casting assistant for a little while.
What's a casting assistant?
So you know how in films, television, they have, like, obviously a casting director who does the casting.
Who picks the people that are going to play the parts?
Basically.
Sure.
I mean, they do that in collaboration with other people, but... So the casting assistant assists them, so you
Get me some coffee.
Not like that.
Oh,
you might be looking through the script. So they're like, okay, we're auditioning the roles of, like, Brittany, Christina, and Justin.
Sure.
And I don't want those names, but so... They're like, okay, so you got to look through the script. You got to get a good scene for each of these characters, a good Brittany scene that has a lot of different emotions that the person can work with, or a good Christina scene that's a big, long monologue, basically. And you're looking for these in the scripts with every character, and you're getting those together for the people to audition with, to use those scenes. You might be putting out the casting calls. You might be communicating with the actors, scheduling them in, that kind of thing.
And did you like that?
It was pretty fun, but, you know, it just, the people I was working for were kind of incompetent. It wasn't really like my thing. We were doing, like, again, because it's so everyone wants to hire their friends. So we were doing this film for Hallmark, and we had a bunch of
Hallmark, the card company?
Yeah, so I don't know. They do a lot of Hallmark original movies on their channel. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Nope.
Like,
that's okay.
They're mostly for like older women, I guess.
Sure.
So we're doing this film. She brings in everyone, whatever, to audition. And the director and the producer are there the next day going through all the footage, and they're like, oh, none of these people are good. None of these people are what we're looking for. Like, isn't there anyone else? Isn't there anyone else we can look for? And, my boss is kind of like, oh, well, no, like, that's just who there is. Like, you'll have to pick from those people. Like, that's just who there is. That's who I'm bringing in. You'll have to pick someone. And obviously they didn't want to do that. So the producer just called a different casting director in a different city and went over her head. But that's kind of what it is. It's kind of like, well, these are the people I like, so I want them to get in. I don't want to try out these new people.
Sounds like a crappy place to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so... full-time YouTuber. Do you want to be full-time with that?
Definitely. Like I said, I think that's kind of a lot of people who do it kind of want that in the back of their mind. The end game is like, oh, I want to do
Is it because of fame? Do you want to be famous?
I mean, I think that, like, that's definitely probably part of it. But I think more it's just sort of the opportunity to be creative. Like, a lot of these people are creative people on YouTube, and they want to be able to get paid for being creative. That's why anyone goes into the arts. But it's so hard to do that in a traditional way. And YouTube is kind of a way, it's like, hey, you can do this yourself. You don't need to be hired. You don't need to be approved. People who want you will find you.
That's the power of it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the power of it is, that, like a lot of people, even with I do a lighting podcast. And, for the people in the lighting business, I'm young to them.
Yeah.
To be doing a podcast. It's like, who does that guy think he is? Just what's this what is a podcast? And I'm like, I'm trying to tell them what it is. So there's a lot of old people that don't know about this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started that, it was like, they had no idea what I was doing or how it was going to work or why anyone would do it. And it worked really well. And I ended up making money doing it. I think that, the traditional media has no idea what YouTube is. They have no idea how to grapple with it. They don't like it because it probably, or maybe they've learned to use it recently in the last 3 or 4 years, but originally they had no idea what to do with it or how to look at it or handle it. And I think that's what's emerging now, that it's...
Well, I think they still don't like it a lot. Like, I don't know if you heard about all this stuff in the UK with, what was it called? Like Article 34 or whatever they were trying to pass, which was like this crazy law that included like, basically, okay, I'll give you an example. If you have a blog or you're on Facebook and you want to link to a story by the BBC or whoever, some sort of news channel, you'd have to pay them a link tax just to link to them. That was this thing they were proposing. And thankfully it got rejected because it was insane. But, I think
How would that work?
Well, it would basically be like a giant content ID. It's like, we see our URL, we're taking it down, we're suing people, like, kind of like...
So this is the death throes of the old industry, I guess.
Definitely. I mean, you see it definitely a lot with, like, young people. It's kind of the catchphrase. It's like, let traditional media die already. It's, like, so lame. No one likes it. No one wants it. Because, and even, like...
Watching commercials is so stupid.
I mean, it's how we get paid, so it's, like, kind of cool. But
No, but I mean, okay, so you watch a 5-second YouTube commercial.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. You can't skip it. Try to skip it. Come on, skip this crap. Come on, skip. No, okay, can't skip it. But then you're sitting in front of the TV and a commercial comes on, then another one comes on, then another one comes on, then another one comes on. Or you're listening to the radio and then a commercial comes on. You got like 6 commercials in a row for 5 minutes.
Well, that's so why people don't watch TV. They watch Netflix. People don't listen to the radio. People listen to Spotify or just their own music, iPods, whatever. And, but what I was saying was...
I don't know what you were saying. We're talking about the old media has to die.
Yeah. So basically...
Die media.
So obviously we see a lot of entertainment on YouTube, but that's not all it is. Like, there's a lot of independent journalists who have rised on YouTube and on... the internet, and people, especially younger people, they trust them more than they trust traditional media.
That's interesting. That's an interesting point.
Like, they I mean, we saw it with PewDiePie. Obviously, people trusted him more than they trusted the Wall Street Journal. But they've run polls. It's like, okay, do you trust a YouTuber or do you trust, MSNBC or Fox News? It's like, no, they trust YouTubers.
You know what? I wouldn't trust MSNBC or Fox News either.
Well, I mean,
I'm 40 years old, almost 41.
I think most people don't trust it, but most people don't know that there's like this great alternative.
Most people my age know about it, but I mean, get into the older crowd. Yeah, you're going to have, like, my dad wouldn't watch YouTube videos. He might watch a YouTube. He doesn't know what it is, but, I think, the idea, everyone knows that, or if you don't know, now you know, son. But everyone knows that most media outlets are captured by one place along the political spectrum, left or right. Mm-hmm. And I think most YouTubers see the political spectrum as archaic in the first place.
Well, yeah, and it's
like, oh, you're left wing or right wing. It's kind of like I'm on neither wing. I'm somewhere out here in YouTubeville. See you guys later.
Right, and it's sort of this like old people meme, kind of like people in their 30s and their 40s on Twitter and stuff.
30s and 40s not old. Come on.
I mean, comparatively.
Matt, we're old, buddy.
Comparatively, and a lot of the thing is like, oh, your guys are centrist. You guys are so dumb. You're centrist this, centrist that. You're just in the center, don't you? Whatever. And it's like people aren't necessarily like right in the center. They're just sort of taking ideas.
I don't know the idea. I don't understand. I think the idea of the left and the right and the center is anachronistic and it belongs to another age.
Exactly.
I don't think it makes any sense anymore.
But a lot of people can't see that, so they just think, oh, you're in the middle, like you're right dab in the middle.
A lot of times people say, oh, I'm in the middle. It's just, no, I'm not extreme about old ways of doing things.
Yeah, so you're kind of like, oh, well, I can see what this guy's saying. I'll take that idea, but I don't like that. Or I can see this one. I'll take that. I don't like that.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
And it's you have an example would be, so for example, a lot of people on the so-called right are just fiscally conservative. So what they don't want to waste money. They think it's stupid to run deficits and spend more money than you have. But they're not necessarily involved with the 50 other causes on the right, say pro-life, gun law, pro-gun, anti-union or anything else. They may just be fiscally conservative. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's so crazy now. Like, it's sort of like, look, there's 2 parties in America. There's 3 parties in Canada. People are going to belong to one of them. Like, you have to kind of just accept it. Like, you can't, like, freak out anyone who's, like, slightly to the right of you. But I think a lot of it is also, like, people don't listen to each other. People don't want to hear their argument. So, like, you brought up gun law. So that's a really good one because a lot of people who are, like, pro-gun, their argument is like, well, banning this isn't going to help anything. That's just prohibition. People, criminals are still going to get them. And I want a gun and I'm responsible, so mine shouldn't be taken away. But people don't hear that. They're just like, oh, you love guns. You like this gun culture. You don't care about people who are dying. And then on the other side, you have left-wingers who are like, oh, well, we need to regulate this, or, like, at least we would bring down the problem, or, like, you need to have stricter ways of people actually getting these guns. And the people on the right don't hear that. They're just like, oh, you want to come and take my things away and, like, disarm the people. Like, they don't listen to each other. They just
I think we should make it clear that gun issues in Canada and gun issues in the United States are 2 different things.
Definitely.
So owning a gun in Canada is a privilege. Owning a gun in the States is a right. Mm-hmm. So the government can take away your guns whenever they want in Canada. It's like Canada, a driver's license. It's a driver's license. A lot of the problems, too, is a lot of people react. There's like this natural reaction in our society where it's like, see, we told you all along. And they ignore the facts, or they ignore on either side of arguments. You see it all the time. And YouTube is kind of an antidote to that in a way.
I mean, a lot of it, like, definitely you still see, like, you still see people, like, on the far left, on the far right on YouTube. But most of the people who have kind of risen up have been people who have been more, whatever you want to call them. Like, people kind of mockingly call them rational skeptics, or whatever you want to call them.
That's a good word, rational skeptic. Okay.
I don't think anyone actually calls themselves that. It's kind of just, it's kind of like SJW. Like, no one calls themselves that. It's just an insult. But there's sort of the community that's really risen is sort of the one that's just kind of a bit more normal, if you will. I
think it's like SJW meaning social justice warrior.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's what people would call someone who's gone too far on a particular issue to the point where they want to make fun of them. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Let's make fun of you by calling you a social justice warrior. Is that what you are? It's a way of making fun of somebody, labeling them with a term which is insulting and minimizing and humiliating. To be called that's humiliating for sure. So we use those things. I think they're probably used like crazy on YouTube. I think that's probably the place they're used the most. But in a sense, it's refreshing because everyone can say whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point, is that people want there to be this marketplace of ideas where it's like, okay, you can say anything you want. It can be as crazy as you want or as normal as you want, and people will make up their own minds if they agree with you or not.
And that's the power of YouTube, I think.
Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of times people are trying to preserve.
Why is it being taken away on YouTube?
A little bit, because the PewDiePie controversy, going back to that for a little bit, was some jokes that had been taken out of context. He had made some Hitler jokes, and the Wall Street Journal took these screenshots. They presented them in a very dishonest way, and they said, like, look at this. This guy's a Nazi. He's teaching your kids to be Nazis, basically, is what they said about PewDiePie. And, of course, his own audience...
Is he Jewish? That'd be a good question.
He's Swedish.
Oh, he's Swedish. It'd be hilarious if he was Jewish. That would be the best.
I mean, there's been Jewish people who have been... I mean, I think that right-wing commentator Ben Shapiro has been accused of being a Nazi before.
Meanwhile, he's a conservative Jewish guy. Yes.
Yeah, but with PewDiePie, obviously anyone, not just his audience, but anyone on YouTube was like, "Well, this is ridiculous. Like, obviously we're not going to buy this." But that is sort of the thing they're using to slander a lot of people. Is like, oh, they're like secretly this extremist.
But why does the Wall Street Journal care what PewDiePie says?
Because I think they realize that PewDiePie has a lot more pull than they do, and that their audience is going to be gone soon, and they're kind of going to peter out. So
they were willing to compromise their own integrity as journalists in order to shame PewDiePie in the Wall Street Journal?
Absolutely, or at least that's what it looked like to most people who looked at that article.
Huh. Well, it sounds like they need a new editor down there. I mean, I don't know who's thinking that. I mean, the Wall Street Journal should be reporting on the stocks and the economic forecast, the bond market, things like that. What are you worried about PewDiePie for?
Well, it's kind of funny. Like, every time YouTubers are in the news, in the mainstream media, it's always something negative. It's always like, oh, like this beauty guru, whoever, Zoella, she's a bad influence on your daughter, and PewDiePie is indoctrinating your kids, and iDubbbz is a racist, and this person is that, and don't let your kids watch this or that, or we found this video on YouTube, therefore YouTube is bad, and you have to it's insane. There was some guy on Twitter, I don't know who he was, but he was verified, so he must have been someone. He was like, my kid was indoctrinated on YouTube, and now he's a flat earther, and it's like, well. Your kid, talk to your kid. Like, your kid saw a video and now they're a flat earther. Like, that's your fault.
Yeah, how old is the kid? I mean, I don't know. I have 4 kids, so I don't know if everything's my fault if my kids believe it. But, I mean, flat earther. Oh, my goodness.
It's like I just don't think kids are in danger of being indoctrinated into being flat earthers.
Yeah, I think if your kids become a flat earther, there's bigger problems there.
Yeah.
Like, come on, flat earth. Oh, I can't believe there's people that believe that. I know it's a huge thing, isn't it?
It is. Like, I don't know if you've heard of this rapper B.O.B. He was pretty big a few years ago. He's a big flat earther.
Like, he thinks the earth is like a disc floating in the sky?
Yeah, he was going to,
What are you talking about, man?
I know. He's, got this footage up in an airplane. He's like, see, that looks flat to me.
It actually looks round to me when I go in an airplane. It looks round to me. It's crazy. It's it's... Yeah. I don't know, but you know what? There were crazy people before YouTube, too.
Oh, for sure.
Before YouTube, there's people that believed all sorts of crazy stuff. And I think that probably overall there's more truth being felt and understood by people than there is lies being accepted because of YouTube. I think it's the other way around.
Oh, definitely. And YouTube, another thing they're kind of cracked down on is conspiracy theories. They really want to crack down on.
But do you want YouTube to crack down on anything? I can tell you kind of don't want that.
Well, no. And it's sort of like, okay, maybe there are conspiracy theories that are pushed through YouTube, but at the same time, first of all, there's plenty of people who are making conspiracy theory videos that are just for fun, that are just kind of like, oh, let's talk about the conspiracy that like Beyonce's way older than she says she is, or hey, what do you think? Really good one I saw by Shane Dawson was like, there's so many mattress stores because they're just a front. People are just laundering money through mattress stores. That's why you see so many of them and no one's ever in them. So just stuff like that. But
that's a good point. Why are there so many mattress stores?
Exactly,
it's
right?
It's a great point. Like,
and so
there is a lot of mattress stores, actually.
So he's doing these videos that are totally harmless just for fun, and he's getting demonetized.
There's 2 mattress stores or 3 mattress stores in Stouffville. Like, Stouffville's a very small town. Why is there like a sleep country? There's another guy that's got a mattress store. I think there might be 3 in Stouffville.
Yeah, I think even in the video he said like...
It's a conspiracy. I
yeah,
think he's right.
Go to your local town, go Google Maps, type in mattress stores, see how many there are. Like,
yeah, there's tons.
Crazy.
But people had crazy ideas in the past too, and I think their ideas were more crazy.
Well, I think that's kind of it. Like even 10, 20 years ago, like if you're not hearing about reptilians or flat earth from YouTube.
What's reptilians?
Oh, this is conspiracy that certain powerful people are secretly like shape-shifting reptilians.
People believe that? Come on.
But if you weren't hearing this on YouTube...
I think metaphorically, yes. There are metaphorical shape-shifting reptilians that are running the show. Some of them, yes. But not actually reptilian.
Well, 10 years ago, you would have been learning about it in a book, in some alt bookstore. It wouldn't have been like... So you would have been finding this anyways, like...
So exposure to more ideas, I think, is better. And the problem with controlling the exposure is who gets to control it, who gets to decide.
Well, that's kind of the thing, right? It's like, I don't know who the hell said it, I can't remember, but it was like, okay, so you want to censor things, who would you trust as the censor?
That's the problem. Who's going to watch the watchers? That's a tough one. I think that's a good place to close, Serena.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. I had a ton of fun.
Me too.
GetAGripStudios.com. That's right. Your home for all your podcasting, video blogging needs. We're here to help. It took me 2 years to get here, and you can have it all right now. You can know what I knew with a professional producer, social media wizard. Matt Scanlon's in there. He can take care of you. What is he going to do for you? What are we going to do for you? Well, we have a podcast space, nice and quiet, where you can record your shows. We have a virtual studio. We have all the social media expertise you need to really go hard. Or we have a really low price point of entry, $200. You want to come do a pilot show, you want to interview someone in the virtual studio, you can try it out. So go to GetAGripStudios.com. And at that, you can check out our pricing and all that's all online. And I'd like to thank Serena G. Thank you for coming on the show. You're a YouTube expert. I learned so much. There's so much stuff this 41-year-old guy from Uxbridge doesn't know out there, man. The YouTube is a powerful force. You know what's funny? I wonder if what's going to happen after YouTube. Like if there's another level to all this. It's going to be interesting to see. Serena really, lifted the dark curtain for me, so to speak, and showed me, wow, there's so many people out there that are very successful using YouTube, getting their messages out there, their own personal message. So you can check her out on social media. On YouTube, it's /SerenaGX. On Instagram, it's SerenaX99. And Twitter's @99Gaddy. Check her out, Serena G. And this is the Get a Grip on Life podcast. I told you all about it in the beginning. I tell you again, this is selfish reasons. I want to interview interesting people. I want to hear their stories. I want to talk to them. And you know what? This is a good opportunity to do it. People take it seriously. They know that what I want to hear is their message, not my message. Not some pre-agreed upon conversation, a mode that people go into so they don't get into arguments. Not that I get into arguments with anybody, but maybe I will on the show. Who knows? But it's they know when they come in here that it's going to be about them, and they're safe, and they can let rip and tell me all about their life and where they're successful, where they're failing, what their thoughts are on social views. You wouldn't believe it, man. When you put a microphone and a headset on somebody and you sit them down, they really hone their message. And they really think about, while they're speaking, they really think about what it is they actually believe. And they tell you why they think it is they're successful. So I'm very humbled and honored to have people come in here and speak to me. So this is episode number 4, Get a Grip on Life, getagriponlife.com. Thank you for listening.